Coming up in this episode, the RFL talks money, Brown pleads guilty, and Mansour on why he didn't make the move to the UK. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Dominance, Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to continue seeing more. Well, it's another day, it's another episode of Held Dominance with your rugby league news. And we start today with the statement from the RFL, who today shared their annual report and financial statements for 2022 with clubs and other members of the Rugby League Council ahead of next month's annual general meeting. This is reinforcing the importance of tackling the financial challenges ahead and continuing to ensure the financial stability of our sport. In the statement, it says the RFL has also confirmed significant increases in participation this year, and also the first half of this year, reflecting the positive impact of what was last year's Rugby League World Cup. So there's a bit of figures here, so please bear with me. The draft group financial statement details a loss of £987,000 for 2022. This is following a profit of £1.059 million for 2021. There is also cash reserves of £7.9 million. Turnover was up by 70% from £24.764 million in 2021 to £42.152 million in 2022, largely as a result of the World Cup, with sponsorship increasing from 1.668 to 5.744 million. There was also government funding, which has gone up from 8.351 million to 11.030, mainly due to the grants received by the Rugby League World Cup 2021 Limited for delivering the tournament despite its delay. One thing though, distribution to clubs was significantly reduced from £8.356 million in 2021 to £5.278 million in 2022, relating in main to the reduction of the distributions to the Championship and League One clubs, resulting from the sport's lower level of revenue. The strategic report accompanied these statements, summarising the results as followed. The board and the executive team had budget to make a profit in 2022 in order to continue the financial turnaround from previous 3 years and to build reserves for the future to bolster the group's ability to absorb potential budget shocks in the coming years. Despite the strict cost control and management of the spend by the executives, the group has been faced with another challenging year. Looking at the breakdown according to the RFL and the statement, 4 key areas are identified, of which insurances are the most significant, with the cost rising from £705,644 in 2021 to £1.43 million in 2022. The result of a significant premium increase, which was not able to be budgeted for. The cost was incurred on the behalf of the whole game, as it arises from liability insurance placed by the RFL on behalf of its clubs. Central events are the next factor identified, with ticketing revenue for the 2022 Challenge Cup final below expectations and a significant cost absorbed to stage the mid-season international, which gave the England's men's and women's team a chance to perform ahead of the Rugby League World Cup 2021 tournaments held in the autumn. The RFL have also had to deal with the infrastructure as a part of the realignment of the sport. RL Commercial which was formed in 2022 as a joint venture between the RFL and Super League Europe, has been assigned the rights of all the commercial properties of the professional sport and is charged with selling those properties as well as staging sports-centric events. The resulting restructuring, should I say, has produced a smaller executive team in 2023 at a lower cost than prior years, but there is some one-off restructuring costs accounted for in 2022. That be things like, I don't know, letting people go. Finally, the strategic report notes that the postponement of the Rugby League World Cup to autumn 2022 led to the refunding of a substantial number of tickets which had already been purchased. Other revenue streams were also impacted in 2021 and did not recover in 2022 when the tournament was rescheduled. Clearly, while the Rugby League World Cup was rationalised during the latter part of 2021, there was certainly a cost of keeping the tournament functional during a period and retaining key members of the management team and staff. The Rugby League World Cup 2021, a separate company but part of the RFL group, therefore has its results included in the RFL's Draft Group 2022 financial statements. The group also includes Rugby Football League Investment 2020 Limited, which is a vehicle through the Sports Survivors Fund loans have been administered, and its balance sheet reflects the long-term liability in relation to the loans made eligible to entities in 2020, 2021 and 2022. Presented to the RFL Council at the annual general meeting on July the 26th. The AGM will also receive an update of participation figures which reflect the positive and tangible impact of the Rugby League World Cup 2021, and which was shared with the RFL's community board last week. Mark Lovering, the RFL's Director of Participation and Development, said, "In addition to the £26.4 million of capital invested enabled by the Create by Capital Grants programme, the RFL Rugby League World Cup 2021, the most inclusive Rugby League World Cup in history, has also driven a significant increase in participation, particularly amongst female and wheelchair athletes. The World Cup winning England wheelchair team squad have been very active in various community activities in the aftermath of the tournament. This effort, combined with the well over 150 new wheelchairs delivered through Created By, has resulted in a 75% increase in participation compared with the same period in 2022. With England Community Lions also winning the inaugural Physical Disability World Cup, the number of PDRL players has increased by 60%. And there has been a 54% increase in the number of players taking part in learning disability rugby league as well. The commitment to perform by the England's women's team have helped to increase the numbers of women and girls participants in 2023 by 15%, again when you compared with the same point last year. This figure will continue to rise once figures from Rugby's programme, inspired by the Rugby League World Cup 2021 and backed by Sport England, are factored in. The core community game, not including education and social, as a whole has seen a 6% increase to date, with encouraging growth particularly amongst junior and youth players. So we've got some losses. But as we always say, give us the bad news first. Because looking at it further down the line, with the participation numbers growing due to the legacy of the Rugby League World Cup, it's always a positive. I don't mind spending money if it's going to bring a long-term positive. All I can say is, if the participations numbers go up next year, and there's still a loss, but the loss has gone down, it will prove dividends that rugby league is starting to grow, and they're the biggest numbers that we need in this country. Help sport become profitable and grow. Next, we come to Parramatta star Dylan Brown, who has pled guilty to groping a young woman at a pub in Sydney's East earlier this month. The Kiwi 5'8" was arrested and stood down from NRL following allegations that he touched a woman's breast without her consent at the Golden Sheep Hotel on June the 3rd, 2023. The 23-year-old was charged with 5 counts of sexual touching without consent. In court on Wednesday, he pled guilty to 2 charges, while the remaining 3 were dropped by the police. Magistrate Jennifer Atkinson convicted Brown and sentenced him to an 18-month community corrections order. Brown's lawyer, David Newham, said the Eels player was deeply sorry for the stupid spur-of-the-moment act. Mr. Newman went on to say, "He can't remember. He was that drunk. He'd had 15 to 20 alcoholic drinks in combination before we went to the Sheaf Hotel and while he was at the Sheaf Hotel." The court told Brown was attending a birthday party at the venue when he sexually assaulted a 20-year-old woman at about 11:20 p.m. The prosecution argued that Mr. Brown should be subject to a correction order and mandatory alcohol addiction treatment for his unacceptable behaviour. The prosecution said this 20-year-old woman was just going out and trying to have a good night and enjoy herself. Unfortunately, she encountered the accused who grabbed her breasts not on 1 occasion, but 2. Women, irrespective of their age, should feel safe when they go out. They should not be afraid of being accosted by drunken men. Magistrate Atkinson sentenced Brown to a community corrections order, which will remain in place for the next 18 months. Under the order, Brown will not face any jail time. However, he must undertake rehabilitation for alcohol addiction and stay away from the woman he groped as part of the apprehended violence order. No fault stand-down conditions have been withdrawn. Following his arrest, the NRL stood down Brown under the no-fault condition on June the 7th. The policy, introduced in 2019, allowed the sporting body to withdraw players charged with serious criminal offences. The suspension was rescinded on Wednesday after the 5 charges of assault were dropped to 2. The National Rugby League has today confirmed that the no-fault stand-down condition will no longer apply to Parramatta Eels player Dylan Brown, following the finalisation of criminal proceedings against Brown at Downing Centre Local Court today. With the criminal proceedings concluded, the NRL Integrity Unit will now conduct an immediate review of the matter, according to an NRL statement. But now, what remains unclear is whether a reduction from 5 charges of sexual touching to 2 will affect the NRL's stance on Brown's right to play. The Eels, though, said in a statement that Brown had taken full responsibility for his actions. The statement said, "Dylan Brown today faced court regarding an incident that took place on the 3rd of June 2023. During today's appearance, Dylan entered a guilty pleas to 2 charges upon the prosecution withdrawing the remaining 3 charges. Following the guilty pleas, the court issued a community corrections order for 18 months. This was followed up from a statement from Parramatta's CEO Jim Sarantinos about the incident. "Our club has a strong commitment to respectful behaviour towards women, and the behaviour that was outlined in courts today is unacceptable and is against the expectations we have at our club. Dylan has taken full responsibility for his actions and has acknowledged the impact that this has had on the person involved, for which he is genuinely remorseful. The club will continue to support Dylan and work with him as he learns from the experience. will now work with the NRL Integrity Unit on the next steps in finalising the matter. Strong statements from the club, the CEO and the prosecutors. There should be less and less instances of this, but this still seems to happen. We've seen it in history, as I've reported in the previous episode when bringing this information to you about the arrest, that there were 4 other players in the last year that have done it. It needs to be reduced. Well, not done the same thing as Dylan Brown, but other alleged like-minded actions. Anyway, hopefully Dylan can get past it and still be a pivotal part of this Parramatta team who've started to gather more and more momentum. On the other side though, I hope the woman gets whatever she needs from this decision and is mindful of the fact that she has got this victory. It should not be subject to that sort of thing ever again. And finally, I have another transfer rumour from Australia, as there was a time at the end of the 2022 season when Lebanon international and ex-NRL star John Mansour was being linked with a move to the Super League. The powerful winger had just left the South Sydney Rabbitohs following 12 tries in 16 appearances over a period of 2 seasons. But with his next club yet to be confirmed, Mansour left Australia for the World Cup in the UK. Despite persistent links with the Super League move, the 32-year-old star insisted dropping down a league to play for the Newtown Jets in the New South Wales Cup competition. Now Mansour has explained just why a move to the UK fell through and why a move would interest him in the next year or two. He told the Rugby League Express, "The move didn't really progress too much in the conversation. I think what happened for us was as a family, we were considering going to the UK. But when I came back from the World Cup, we had some good news that my wife was pregnant. We were able to calculate that the day that she fell pregnant was the night before I jumped on a plane to head over to the UK for the World Cup, so talk about timing. We wanted to stay closer to home, closer to family. We have 2 young kids and a wife giving birth in a few weeks. Maybe if something happened next year or the year after. We haven't spoke about it, but I still have an ambition to keep playing." Looking at that story, I for one would have echoed Mansour's priorities if my family was about to welcome a new addition and stayed where I felt the family were comfortable. It's not the best of times to move around the world, and it can be jarring for anyone moving that far, let alone with a young and getting younger family. But I do have to ask, I wonder who it was that he almost agreed to come to the UK and sign for. We can speculate all we want, but for now, congratulations to the Mansour family, and I hope young one is happy and fantastic. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking on that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way in the near future. Tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode in the comment section below, as it's open for business. You, me and everyone else can have a good discourse about the 3 stories or anything else regarding rugby league in the comments. But for now, I'll end the episode as I always do by helping you share this video worldwide, and wish you all the best. So please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.